So we're back in the basement because I have some soldering to do, and it's because I have this Philips DVD player. Specifically, it is the DVP642/37. Now, other than the fact that this is a progressive scan DVD player, although component video only, this does not have HDMI out, I believe. It can't do 1080p, probably 480p, something like that. I forget the specific specs. It's been a very long time since I've actually used it, because at some point it stopped working. I don't remember if it doesn't turn on or if it only partially turns on, if it doesn't read discs or whatever. But what's special about this is that if you notice here, you'll see this DivX logo. Now, this isn't the DivX that was just bump something. This was not the DivX that was introduced by Circuit City that was kind of like a self-destructing DVD player or DVD discs or anything like that, kind of like to combat rental services. This is one that uses the DivX format, which can do some really great compression without much loss of quality. So you could take a DVD, which is about 4.7 gigs, and squeeze it down to about 700 megabytes, which is a CD, and still maintain most of the quality, if not all of it, depending on some settings and tomfoolery. Now, there was XviD as well, which I think was kind of like an open source version of it. I forget the details. I'll post some links and stuff. But anyway, this thing stopped working years ago, and I kind of just shelved it. This was before I was even doing any kind of repairs or anything. But I figured, let me drag it out. It was a comment. I forget if it was a post on a social media site like Blue Sky or something, or if it was a YouTube video. But someone had mentioned something, and it jogged my memory about this. And so I figured, let me take a look and see if we can't get this working now that I've learned a few things here and there. But first, we'll plug it in. I'll hook it up to the TV, and we can take a look and see what it is or isn't doing. So I've got it hooked up with just standard AV cables, composite video, because I don't have any component video cables on hand. Standby light is on. There's power. I've got the television input set to composite. And if I hit the power button, it kind of just shuts off. It doesn't actually turn green. I think it's supposed to turn green, but it doesn't do anything. Oh, never mind. It just went back. Maybe it takes a minute for it to start up. Like I said, it's been a long time since I actually did anything with it. Oh, loading. Look at that. No disc. Still nothing on screen, though. If we, let me just double check the cable connections. All right, so got a picture. Sorry, the camera arm's in the way, but decent picture. Although it's interesting on camera, it looks more bluish, and on the actual display, it's more greenish. The display itself is kind of starting to get old and all that. So anyway, let's go ahead and we'll put a movie in. And for that, I am going to choose Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Also, I just realized the cover art, at the very least, gave Square inspiration for the FF7 remake series. Interesting. I even have my original receipt. And the jewel case here. Watch this darn thing work, and this is all for nothing. And this is just a standard DVD. It's not Blu-ray, it's not HD DVD, nothing like that. It's spinning up, but it's like trying to read and it can't. And it's playing, of course. Because why not? Anyway, let's go ahead and stop. Let me go ahead and grab another disc just in case. I mean, this disc is in good shape. But just in case, I want to see, because like I said, I tried this. This was, I don't know, 10 years ago. And it was not working. So I'll be right back. So I'm going to put in this totally legitimate copy of The Incredibles. And yes, I actually do own the actual official DVD. I don't know why I made a backup of it. Maybe the original got damaged and I was able to rip it somehow. I don't know. But let's go ahead and see if this works. Because maybe I tried using a DVD-R or something, and that's why it didn't work. And I don't know, but it was not working. I promise you that. And yeah, it's loading now. So, so there's that. Now I do have a copy of on CD, Fantasy Spirits Within. I've got the actual DVD as well, but this is one of those that I ripped and turned into a DivX format, or maybe XviD. But either way, one of the benefits of this player is that it can play that format. But again, it'll take a DVD and squish it down to a CD, basically. Let's see if this works. Reading index. That's one of the differences between a DVD and a DivX disc. But yeah, as you can see, it's loading as well. So I can fast forward. And that's it. So we'll stop that just in case. I still want to give this thing, maybe a cleaning inside, clean the laser, because it did take a minute for the actual DVD to load. And I want to make sure that I give this the best chance of working. Plus, I want to check the caps just in case, because this was, early to mid 2000s. So there was still that capacitor plague and everything. And so we'll take it apart and take a look anyway. All right, so we've got several screws removed. We've got, I don't know if we have to take these out just yet. We may have to, but we've got these 3 in the front for the front bezel. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the side, 11, 12 on the side. So 12 screws we have to take out for sure. And if we have to take the board out for any reason, there'll be additional screws. So I'll just take those out real quick so we don't have to bore you. All right, so it's actually not horrible in here. I forgot to remove the disc, but that's fine. It's actually not horrible in here. There's a little bit of sign of rust over here starting. This relatively looks clean, and I don't see any signs of bad capacitors or anything. I don't know. Let me see. Because I did a little bit of research before I started this, and I guess C316 is known to go bad, and it'll prevent it from even powering on. But as you saw, this turns on. This could be a later revision, but it's on the power supply. We'll get to that next. None of these appear to be leaking. No signs of bulging or anything. Not the highest quality capacitors either. Quinto or QNT, Qnlow, or I don't know. At least that. And then you've also got T-Bore, and there's a bunch of different ones in here. This one's Jamicon. Another Jamicon. What about these blue ones here? Sukan. So Philips just, went and got whatever it wanted. I can't even tell what this one is, this large one, which I'm not even going to bother with, because but yeah, they say the C316 is known to go bad, but the original post showed that it was a 1000 microfarad 10 volt or 16 volt cap, 10 volt cap, and this one's got a 25 volt cap. So this one may have already been revised. This might be a later revision. So I'm not going to worry about changing any of these if they don't need to be. Again, it works, it powers on. There's no dust in here or anything. There's nothing for me to do, and that kind of, I'll try to capture as much of this as possible in case your eyes are better than mine and you notice anything off. But I don't think, I don't see any signs of leakage or anything. For a split second, I thought that maybe right there, but I think that's just the solder mask not going all the way to that through hole, which isn't a concern. Bummer, I kind of wanted a repair video, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that I don't have to deal with anything. I wish I had gotten this disc out though, but of course I can't unless it's plugged in. Well, let me plug it in real quick. There we go. And I'll leave that as is and unplug it. So the tray stays open, so I have easier access to that laser lens there. I don't want to have to remove everything. You just hit the power button to potentially discharge anything there. And it'll just give the laser a quick cleaning and put this back together and make sure it still works. All right, just a little bit of IPA. We'll use the dry end to quickly dry it up. Not that it needs to be, but you know. And well, I guess, I don't think I need to lubricate anything. It glides nice and smoothly, so we'll just leave that be, and I'll get this back together. We'll test it one more time to make sure it works, and it'll just be more of a informational video. Again, if you have this model or a very similar one, I would venture, I think there's a 630 model that might be similar. C316, which is right there in the power supply, can go bad even if it doesn't show signs of bulging or leakage. It could just fail. So I almost want to replace it just because I'm already in here, especially since I do have a Rubicon 1000 microfarad 25 volt. I don't remember why I have this, but I have it. At least I have it in case I need it. And yeah, so let me get this back together, stop yammering, we'll make sure this works, and wrap it up. Also, I realized that I didn't need to remove 3 of these screws because it's not pertaining to the actual top half. So let's hook this back up and see if it works. Power light, that's a good sign. Let's see if we can open it still. Let's make sure a DVD will still read. So let's see if I can get this in a 16:9 mode. No, won't let me do anything while the disk is loading. Guess we'll have to wait. It does take a minute for it to read disks still. But as long as it reads them, I'm okay with that. This DVD player can actually have its firmware updated. You bring it to a disk and that's it. But the thing is that Philips doesn't have them on their site anymore, although they do have the manual, interestingly enough. So I'm not sure why they stopped hosting the firmware files. I'm trying to find like some third-party blog or something like that to see if I can find them. I even tried archive.org. Apparently, Philips's website is excluded from archive.org for some reason. So, all right. Video setup, TV standard multi. Sure, why not? Display 16:9. And this movie should be widescreen. And again, it could maybe just be with the TV. So let me go back to 16:9 and nonlinear scaling, standard mode. Okay, I must have had it in 4:3 mode when I was doing something with retro consoles. So yeah, not much of a repair video. But in the event that you guys have one of these, at least I know about that capacitor, and I'll put a link to the iFixit article that I found that talks about that. Now, why do I care about this old DVD player? Well, we all know that recently a certain company said no more discs, no more media, what have you, and it's not exactly going well for them from a PR standpoint, although I suspect that they're not going to care. And this is the same company who can actually go into your digital library, pull content you've purchased, and say, nope, can't have it anymore, and you don't get a refund. So I don't think that's right. So what I want to try to do is expand my digital library a little bit. I don't have an official Blu-ray player. I do have my Xbox One S and my PS4 Slim that can do Blu-rays, and technically the PS3 Super Slim. I don't know if they can do 4K Ultra, whatever. I have not kept up with media in, I don't know, a decade, so I don't even know what the latest Blu-rays are. I do have a Blu-ray drive in an older PC, and that's it. So I'm going to be also looking for a Blu-ray player. It doesn't have to be fancy bells and whistles or anything, but it'd be nice if it could do, DVDs as well. As far as, these DivX discs, and I do own Ghostbusters officially on DVD as well. As far as that, I don't necessarily care if the Blu-ray player can play them because I do have this now. It seems to be working. So, but I want to start building up a digital library. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to get into like ripping them and, going from there, because I don't necessarily want to have to get terabytes and terabytes of storage. But we'll see about that. At the very least, I can play the movies. I may at some point rip them. I do have to get myself one of those fancy Blu-ray drives that can have custom firmware flash to them so that, you can actually rip the movies and everything. But we'll see. I'm not sure how I want to handle that just yet. Anyway, everything does seem to work, so we'll stop that and wrap this video up. Yeah, so if you guys have any suggestions on some Blu-ray players that I should look out for, I'm going to be going to the thrift store maybe this weekend and taking a look and see, because I'm going to see what kind of media they have as well and pick some stuff up and start building up my library. I do have an app on my phone that I installed. What is it called? Libib or Libib, Libib. You can use it to keep track of all kinds of things. I'm using it just to keep track of my movies and music CDs and stuff like that. So, just my collection. It's a small collection. I didn't have a ton of them, so we'll see. But yeah, if you have any recommendations for Blu-ray players or anything like that, or maybe even a better DVD DivX player or something like that, let me know. Otherwise, thanks all. Catch you later.